Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be taking another look at Scourge of War Waterloo, a game developed by Norbsoft Dev and published by Matrix and Slytherin Games. This is a game that allows you to fight through the Battle of Waterloo in some 20 battles, either as the French or as the Allied armies, and it allows you to fight Waterloo in real time. It's a game that allows you to play sort of one-to-one to see, how you could fight the battle. The different scenarios give you the option to fight through the battle with sort of bite-sized pieces and brigade-sized segments of the battlefield, but they also allow you to fight battles at division, corps, and an entire, I think, like 12-hour long or 7-hour. Is it? No, it's not 12. Is it 10 hours long? An entire 10-hour long battle in command of every single unit on the field of Waterloo. This is probably outside, this and Histwar are probably the two biggest Waterloo games or even Napoleonic games ever made. In terms of the number of units, the scale, the size, the grandeur, they really put Napoleon Total War and other games like it to shame. There are some trade-offs with that, right? It is a niche game made by a small development studio. I was actually involved with the development of the game, so obviously I'm biased there. But this was taken from a live stream for my channel the other day. A couple days ago, we showed a battle with the British forces in front of the Hougoumont. In today's battle, we're going to be taking up the control of the French forces, trying to attack Prussian, or however you pronounce that. I can't remember how you pronounce that position on the right of the French army. Where the Prussians were coming in and threatening the French army's flank. This is going to be the attack with the Guard, the Young Guard infantry, which went in after the Sixth Corps' flank was shattered by the Prussians, and they go in to try and sort of stall and buy the French time to continue their efforts to defeat the British elsewhere on the field. This is a divisional-sized battle, so it is a bigger battle than our last one. It is still only 30 minutes, so it will be more, I think, manageable to watch, and it does start to use things like combined arms with artillery and infantry involved. The approach I take is probably not the best one. I think you'd be better off letting your commanders move their units around the field. I tried to micromanage this a little bit. That's one of the things with Scourge of War is your AI commanders will move units where they think they should move them. If you give them an order to attack a position, they will manage the attack if you let them. And that is a way that really allows you to feel a little bit like an actual commander, although I'm not so good at this game, and it kind of shows in this battle. With that being said, guys, I'm going to turn it over to myself. This was taken from a live stream, so we'll turn it back over to that. And I hope you guys enjoy. Leave your thoughts down below, and let me know if you want to see more of this. You are ordered to attack the village of Place-Noir with your division. The 4th Battery of Guard Reserve Artillery is attached to your division. Drive the Prussians out of the village and hold it against further attacks. So we need to take this objective up here. We can see there are some Prussian troops in the woods or in the streets here. You can see a lot of dead bodies from all the soldiers who fought previously. We need to take this objective here, this church. And you can see we've got some cavalry forming up here. I don't think these are in my command. They're not. But I've got some artillery here that's in my command. And so I've got 2 units of artillery. And I think a couple of brigades of infantry here. I also don't command the French artillery up here on the flank, so they might be able to fire into the flank of some of these guys if they want to help us out. We've got 30 minutes. You can hear the artillery's already starting to open up. Alright, we'll move the brigades forward. Do we have 2 brigades? Looks like we have 2 brigades in our command. I don't think I can command those supply wagons. Oh, I have my own supply wagon. Oh, what did I just do? I guess I'm issuing orders at the division level. That's fine. Let's just move them up that way. Build me a conga line over there, boys. Move the artillery forward, too. I'm going to move this artillery over here. It's a little bit lower ground, but I'd like to fire... fire directly into the enemy flank if I can. Gonna put my artillery on the flanks of my formation here. Gonna try and bring my artillery forward with my men as much as I can. Thanks, Oriel. Yeah, Scourge of War is... I shouldn't say it because I'm biased because I worked on the development team, so... Okay. So I'm trying to have my lines converge on the enemy a little bit. Trying to bring this brigade up the street, kind of directly front toward the enemy troops here in the streets, while this other brigade comes in on the flank. Granted, there are enemy troops out this way. Am I still a dev or retired? I am still technically on the Scourge of War team, I guess, if you will. I haven't retired, if that's what you're asking. I'm not actively doing much with them right now. So you can see these troops moving around. One of the things I love about this game that you just frankly don't get with Total War is the scale of the fighting. You know, it has its own little quirks, but you don't see Scourge of War when you've got all of these units all over the map like this. Just the sheer scope, and this isn't even a big battle, and I think that's my point. Like maybe you could have something roughly this big in like a mod or something like that, but like you can literally fight the entire Battle of Waterloo with all of the units. We're gonna keep moving these guys up. Do I command any of this cavalry? No, I don't. I would love to have some cavalry at my command. Force these enemy infantry into squares. Pound them with artillery. Where are my guns? I ordered some guns up this way, didn't I? Oh, they're still coming up. The other thing is your AI commanders will kind of do their own thing also. That's kind of unique here. Unless you tell them to take command, you can give them orders, but if they see there's something better to do, they will disregard your orders. So it's kind of realistic in that sense. They'll follow your orders to a point. All right, keep moving up, boys. I need to be making a little bit better time than this. Zach, I can't answer that question. Oops. Alright, we're gonna overrun these skirmishers. They're just in my way. I'm trying to remember what the hotkey is for charge, though. Actually, you can see one of our battalions over here is sending out skirmishers all on their own. Two of our battalions are sending skirmishers out. Actually, I probably should take command of this brigade commander, because he's kind of doing his own thing. That's why you're seeing some units facing weird and doing different things, is because he's He's issuing his own orders there. Alright, we'll order that battery of artillery to move forward. This battery commander is also formed up. Where did our other artillery go that we're moving over here? They're still moving into position. Alright, so I think we overran those skirmishers. I wasn't really looking. So now we have 3 battalions here converging on this lone Prussian one. So we should be able to envelop it. Need to probably be careful not to get my artillery too far forward. You can see we're skirmishing here, so I'm going to bring these guys through these buildings into the rear of this battalion of Prussians. So we've got our 2 battalions here engaging both the front and the flank of this 2nd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment of von Gertern's Brigade. But then I've also got these guys coming in behind them. Can't see their flag at the moment. Meanwhile, we've got skirmishers over here. We perhaps have exposed our own flank a little bit, so we're going to move these guys over here. We're moving this artillery into position. Let's move them over here. I'm not even using my guns very effectively at the moment. Whoa, not quite that far. God damn it. Alright, I want those guns to fire into the flank of this battalion. Meanwhile, we've driven these guys back. I wasn't looking, but you can see these guys came in the rear of the enemy. We're driving on the far, or on La Place Sion. I think we're doing a decent job of shredding these guys over here. So now we'll advance on the objective. So I don't have to issue all these orders one by one. You can give brigade commands. You can see they're reforming in front. I don't know how badly I hurt them or if they just pulled back because they saw the danger they were in. Alright, so we'll order those skirmishers to rejoin their unit. We're moving our artillery forward here because artillery is really important to pound down enemy fortifications. And we're kind of clogging the streets of this little village or town over here. Meanwhile, our artillery over here is now opening up. Are these my guns? They're not. My guns are up front. But you can... I love the ground level views in this game where you just can kind of go up and see the guns and the smoke and all of that other stuff going on here. You could make your own little, like, pretty interesting highlight reel if you wanted. You can see a bunch of other Prussian troops being held at bay by the remnants of troops here that were here before, but not part of the Young Guard leading the attack. Meanwhile, you can see my troops down here are engaged. I think I might be able to flank this Prussian battalion on the other side here by moving one of these battalions forward. Move these guys up to support the flank as we move these guys around here to try and hit this Fusilier battalion. Looks like there's 2 enemy battalions in the fort itself. Looks like these guys are firing at the fort, which is what I need. I need to drive them out of the fort. You do that by overwhelming fire. Artillery is a good way to do it. So you can see these guys are loading their guns, firing it over here. You can see the smoke coming out of the church as well. The church can hold up to 1,000 men, so it's not as strong as the Hougoumont. So we'll try and flank these guys here. Are these guys firing? It does say they are. It's 75 yards. Meanwhile, my artillery up here is in action now. I think they're targeting... I don't know who they're targeting. My artillery commanders are not taken. We don't have what we call take command turned on at the moment. So my artillery is going to kind of do their thing. We're going to unsplit these guys. These guns are firing up here. They're inflicting some good casualties up here. 14 casualties. Probably firing... Who are they shooting at? 500 yards. They're shooting at the fort. Oh well. I kind of need them to do that. Meanwhile, we can see some enemy cavalry moving around here. That's a problem. I don't have any of my own cavalry. And if they get too close, my troops will automatically form into square. Which is good for fending off cavalry, but really bad if you're fighting other people while you're doing it. Meanwhile, let's halt these guys here. Let's move them into the double quick. And let's fire a nice volley here right into the exposed flank of the 1st Battalion of the 15th Infantry Regiment of von Gertruing's Brigade. You can see them getting into formation. Aligning. We should get a good volley here in a second. There you go. Nice volley right into the enemy flank. I don't know how much damage that did. Oh, they did break. These guys should be doing better damage than that. Alright, they'll keep firing into the flank there. 2 casualties taken, 22 inflicted so far from these guys. Keep pressing there. Meanwhile, you can see the fort is starting to smoke. We need to take it, though. Wish I could see what the damage level is, but I can't. These guys have inflicted about as bad as they've gotten. I think they're starting to fall back, though, by the looks of it. Their lines are a little bit disheveled. These guys are firing at these 2 regiments. Inflicting a lot better than they're taking. Enemy cavalry's moving up. That's a problem. It's not a very large cavalry unit, but it could definitely force us into square. Which would be very bad to be in a gunfight with enemy infantry while you're trying to deal with enemy cavalry. Meanwhile, one of my battalions is repositioning itself or retreating or something. We'll keep pushing up over here on the right flank. Artillery is firing at the 1st Battalion, which I believe is here. Yes, it is. Okay, so we've got 1 battery of artillery firing at the enemy there. Don't form square, guys. Please don't. It's a small unit there. Just hit their horses hard with musketry. Maybe if I take command, they'll just shoot at these guys. The cavalry could be coming up to try and force us to move into a square formation. Meanwhile, these guys are having trouble moving around these roads. The buildings are a little bit claustrophobic. They're having trouble finding a firing position. That's why they're kind of moving like this. I don't like that they're moving into more open terrain, though, potentially against the horsemen. I don't think I'm going to win this battle because I'm not going to be able to force them out of the fort. See here, we're getting shot at from the flank. Enemy cavalry is charging our infantry here. Halt. Shoot back. No, you're not going to, you're going to be caught in, they're going to be run down. That enemy cavalry charge there just inflicted pretty heavy casualties, over 50 so far, as our troops run. These troops are forming square now, you can see, which is just great because they're less than 100 yards away from an enemy infantry unit. And they're forming square. The enemy cavalry completely unbuckled my line here. You can see these men forming into square formation. So they're nice and safe from the enemy cavalry when they're in square, but boy are they exposed to enemy infantry firing volleys at them. How about you guys shoot at the horsemen? Horsemen are great artillery targets. How about these horsemen come down and help me? Right, these guys are shooting at the horse. Their morale is actually still pretty good. They should be able to rally. The enemy cavalry is pulling back now under fire of our artillery. So we're going to form these men back into line. My infantry's morale is still decent. They should be able to rally and continue fighting. Damn it. I'm going to override them and put them back into line. They keep wanting to form square because of that close proximity of that enemy cavalry. That's one of the things you kind of have to do in the game to be... Not... You don't have to. One of the better ways to be successful in this game is to get your cavalry close enough to the front that it forces the enemy into square, and you bring up artillery and hammer them, which is pretty accurate with, you know, a combined arms tactic and things like that. Oh, shit. I got hit in the flank by cavalry on the other side, too. God damn it. Waterloo. Couldn't escape if you wanted to. Fuck. You damn cowards. I'm sure you could have held the line if you just fired a good volley into them. I thought I was doing well. I was outflanking several enemy battalions. I was pushing them back on the town. Oh God, what did I do? I think I just gave a army order command for all of my troops or something. Why is my artillery pulling back? Honestly, I don't really care much what these troops up here do. Although I'm not obviously using my troops very effectively. This artillery's having a nice time of it up here on the northern part of the battlefield. Are they unlimbering? I can't tell. Yes, they are. They're going into battery. Nice old square there. You're nice and safe from the enemy cavalry that you're terrified of. Meanwhile, this battalion's going to move down here to flank these troops on this hill over here. Although their own flank may be exposed, depending on if these guys have a line of sight on them behind these buildings. What is this German maneuver warfare? You know... Yeah, they're going to come up on their flank, but they might get a good volley in here on this battalion. Yep, they forced them back. So the enemy realized their situation, pulled back, and that should allow my own troops to pivot and turn and face the oncoming threat. Can we move in square? Nope, we're going to move in column, aren't we? Just invite that enemy cavalry to charge you. Did I double quick him? Yes, I did. Close the range to 50 yards, stay in square, maybe you'll have a chance. Meanwhile, continuing to hammer the fort. Actually, are there still troops in here? There are. There's still one enemy battalion of troops inside the fort. There's also cavalry out front. So we've got 2 battalions here firing into them, but we've got an additional enemy battalion coming up on my flank. This is going to be a defeat. Sean Mack, no, I have not been playing Bannerlord. I haven't bought it yet, actually. It's been super interesting. Something that I definitely probably will get eventually. The enemy horsemen are in the way. Oh wait, no, I'm not German. Looks like they're down to 1 battalion actually in the fort here. Oh, now they're all in square formation? Guys. You gotta fucking fight. You can't just sit in square. I don't even see enemy cavalry up here anymore. Looks like they pulled back. Get into damn line formation and fight these guys. What's the button to charge? I wonder if I should... I don't remember. I wish I remembered. There is a hotkey to charge, I swear there is. Those are just keyboard commands. I don't know. Austerlitz Napoleon's Greatest Victory is actually on my desktop. I was playing it yesterday. It still works. The menu's all janked up, but the game still works despite being almost 20 years old. Personally, I think Waterloo Napoleon's Last Battle is better. They're charging! Form square! Now you're going to be facing off against enemy infantry at close range. Maybe I would have been better off giving the AI command of this battle and seeing how they would fight it. That's something you can do. I could be the division commander and basically tell, hey, brigade commander, I want you to go here and take this spot. And then they would move all the regiments and all of that, all for me. So far, we have taken 791 casualties, inflicted 665, a negative 78 score. We also haven't taken the objective, and I think we only have about 5 minutes left. So this is going to be somewhat not a very climactic finale here. Alright, so they did drive those troops off. Again, the fact that I have to micro these different battalions is pretty suggestive that perhaps I should have let the AI do it. Yes, Nico, you can. So there are settings to this game that allow you to basically lock your camera to what your commander would see. So this guy's our commander, so you can... There's a setting called, like, headquarter in the saddles or something like that, which basically locks your camera view as if you're in the saddle here. So it'd be something like this. Whoops. I'm not hitting the right button. Be something like this. And yeah, you can pivot and you can ride around, but essentially you can only see what a general would see from the ground level, which makes commanding much more difficult. And then you can also issue orders via courier. So I could go ahead and send a courier to this guy, send him a message. I don't think he's in my command, but I could send a courier message to someone. So like 1900 hours, execute the following orders. You know, all-out attack. And you can see I just issued the all-out attack order, and a courier is now riding out this way. So I just issued this, apparently an order to this battalion. I didn't really see what I was clicking, for an all-out attack order. So that's what these guys' orders are now. They have an order to do an all-out attack. Now, sometimes they won't listen to you. It's also something where you can use free text in couriers, so like multiplayer could be a lot of fun that way, because you could issue all your orders to your comrades via couriers. The artillery's doing okay, casualty-wise, at least some of it. Some of it's been totally useless. But yeah, I have not managed to even make a dent on the enemy fort. I think what I really needed to do to be successful in this battle is I needed to use these infantry battalions to sweep through this town up here on the right flank, come in down this bridgeway across this little stream here, and then hit the fort from the flank, while the other battalion moved in from the front, and then also used a battalion to swing around and envelop. So essentially I would have units on 3 sides of the fort. Then I would drive these guys out and be able to take it. I think the challenge is with the enemy cavalry. What I'm not sure of is I wonder if I sent a courier to our friendly cavalry over here, if I could bring them up to issue a charge against the enemy cavalry or not. We don't really have time to do it. There's only 2 minutes left. But I wonder if the AI would listen to me for that. I'm not sure. Alright. We'll fast forward and get through this thing. This is going to be a dismal defeat. My troops in front of the fort actually inflicted a pretty good amount of casualties on the enemy. 160, 170 to only 50 taken. But we still suffered a major defeat here. So we took, what, 1,000 casualties? And I think we inflicted about 1,300? Or no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So if we just look at... So we inflicted 1,200 enemy casualties. We took 1,000 casualties for all of the units on the field. This is the 6th Corps, I guess, which isn't really us, actually. So no, we inflicted 1,000, lost 1,200. No, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing again. So yeah, I guess everything falls under Lobu, even though the Guard is definitely not part of the 6th Corps. But yeah, so we inflicted 1,200, took 1,000. The Prussians inflicted 1,200, or took 1,200, inflicted 1,000. But we lost the battle. We weren't able to take the fort in time. So I mean, this is very much like a simulation type war game. It's not really meant to be like a quick play or super actiony or rapid movement all the time. Some of the battles have more of that than others. Waterloo is also very much kind of a a fortress type battle. There's a little bit of additional room for Quatre Bras. It's a smaller field of action, but it's a little bit more open fieldy for here. Ligny is very heavily city fighting. There's a lot of city fighting at Ligny. And then I think Wavre is also the same thing. So like just an example, you can fight a 7-hour battle for Ligny from the side of the French right wing. So I'm not actually going to fight this battle, but I am going to just kind of jump in and show you it. Le Chassel Bleu, thank you for the follow. So you can see here, I am Napoleon Bonaparte. I have 66,644 men at my disposal in this battle. You can see here we've got, I think these are the guards. So you can see we've got the guards over here, 4,000 men. I don't know if that's the young guard or I think these are the grenadiers with the bearskin caps. Although they look like they're in dresses. So we've got the entire army at our command. You can see if we pull up the map, I mean, we can literally command every one of these units. This entire force is at our disposal. It's a huge map. The scale of this is just absolutely astronomical. All of these units can all fight. This is the entire Battle of Ligny. It's 7 hours long. This isn't even this is just a fraction of our army. This is just what we're looking at is like right here. We've got more troops over here, a lot of cavalry over here, just lines and lines of cavalry. Move up here, and you can see additional troops forward here. Just tons and tons of cavalry, hundreds and hundreds of guns and infantry. Again, 66,000 men. 7-hour battle with courier mode. Well, you just saw how badly I did in that Prussian attack. So I don't know if I mean, I'm bad at this game. That's the problem, is I was involved in game development, but I'm just bad at it. I think it's a level above my competency. What I might do is I might do a Scourge of War Gettysburg stream, where we look at like the entire Battle of Antietam. Civil War combat is a little bit more my cup of tea. I don't have to worry about seizing fortifications. I just love this gun line here, though. You don't quite get that scale. The Antietam battle does have like a 10-hour scenario as well, Scourge of War Antietam. But that's a little bit more my cup of tea in terms of like what I understand. All is ready. The battle will start as soon as you give the order. At least one Prussian corps is defending the line of the river. All of your officers are on take charge from the AI. Really? So they're all under take command at the moment, which means they won't move without my express orders. Look at all those frickin' guns. Well, this is Ligny. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Scourge of War Waterloo. And in the battle that you just witnessed, we fought and lost a battle with the Young Guard attempting to stem the tide of the Prussian advance on the French right flank. What you're looking at now is just sort of the scenery in and around Ligny from the French perspective in the entire army battle. This is the kind of thing that if I was good at this game, I think it would be awesome to show. It's difficult because I haven't played this game much in the last couple of years, but I was never very good at it. I think I really struggle with the cavalry aspect of the Napoleonic battles, managing where to put your artillery and then how to use your cavalry to force infantry into squares so then you can crush the squares with the artillery, and then also preventing the enemy from doing that. The AI is very good at moving their cavalry forward, threatening your infantry, forcing your infantry to either get charged, as you saw in the Prussian battle, or forcing you into square where enemy infantry can crush you or their artillery can crush you. And it's just something that I really struggle with. I am thinking about showing off some Scourge of War Gettysburg, which I used to play in the channel fairly frequently. Maybe the Antietam scenario as well. I'm much better at the Civil War battles where you don't really have to manage cavalry in the same way, or you don't have to manage artillery in the same way because there's no need to form squares and other things like that. Civil War combat is a little bit simpler. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Let me know your thoughts below if you'd like to see more of this or not. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.